What is going on, guys? Ryan here with another episode of the Dent Digest Live Show. Thanks for joining us on this rainy Thursday here in Maryland. I hope you guys are out there crushing it. It seemed like some hail dropped the last few days, and hopefully you guys are doing some work. You know, it's been a year, and I think it's going to be a great hail year. The way the weather's been, it's just been weird. You know, we went from 70 degrees to a snowstorm. So it's crazy times. If you guys haven't signed up for Dave Stream's dream event, it looks like it should be a pretty good event. They were on the show last week, kind of went through the details and all the stuff that they have going on. So read into that for the dream event. I know the pricing just went up today from their $35. And then you have Crystal Ellison's event that's actually tomorrow, I believe. So if you guys haven't signed up for that, I'm sure she'll still take some people in over there. She just is opening up a new location. So congrats, Crystal. So I got a couple tools here I want to talk about. I got one new one in the mail that I have not tried. I just got the package today, but there's two tools that I want to kind of highlight. This mini Reaper set that John Vidine came out with. This little thing right here is so valuable. When I first got it, I didn't use it right away. But this is definitely made it into my cart, in my bag, and it's like my go-to little tool. I was always using the little Dentcraft little hooks, but this seems to replace them. So fantastic tool. The little ratcheting handle, great size. Great job, John Vidine. And then here's another tool that I've been using quite a bit of, and you're going to be shocked on what I'm using this thing on. And it is the Excalibur brace tool that comes in his set of 3. This thing works fantastic on fenders. You wouldn't think so, but it's got this shape, you know, just enough shape to leverage off the tire and really get some good pushes in there. And the way the handle is, you know, it's shorter on this side, so it doesn't hit the rim or the tire. And this thing works fantastic. Been using it in the tops of doors to kind of get through that hole. And then, you know, it always gets whacked over by the edge of the door. And this thing really, really does a good job. Now, the one tool that did come out, and I'm going to tell you what it is. Cam Auto dropped some new gems this week. I knew he was working on them. He's got a lot of new stuff coming out that I'm super excited about. And one of them is this little thing. Now, what this thing is, it's called the Tab Saver. And it's got a little spring in here. This goes in the slide hammer end. You slide your tab in here. I can't even see it. Look at that. And it's got a spring in there, and it pushes down on the top of the tab. So when you yank that tab, it's not falling on the ground. But Charles always comes out with some stuff. And I was talking to Chad Peters today, and from Endeavor Dentals. And I said, you know what I like about Charles's tools? He seems to adapt to even his competition. So even Kiko, that is in the same business, the same type of, products, a lot of the glue pulling products, but he seemed to make the Tab Saver work with their Kiko RoboLifter. So I thought it was a fantastic, he always does a really, really good job of making everything kind of work together. So if you guys are interested on this, I believe it's on his website. Check it out. I love it because I'm fat and lazy and don't like bending over to pick up my tabs off the floor. So I'm sure you guys can relate. And it's well made. I mean, it's metal, both sides. It's got a rubber washer at the top. Lock it into your slide hammer. And the spring's definitely got some strength to it. So Tab Saver from Cam Auto, go check that out. And I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing me talk about this, but I am super excited that my cart from 2MB1 looks like the tracking says it should be shipped and delivered here probably by Saturday. So I'm super excited about that, that they got launched. I've been waiting 2 years impatiently because I've been wearing Chad out about it for 2 years. So as soon as I get it, I'll make sure you guys get to see it in person. But I am super, super excited about their cart. So, but I want to get this show on the road. I got a guy sitting in the background here just saying, what is he rambling on about? And we've got so much information. The next 2 weeks, next 3 weeks, I've got some really, really good information for you guys. Not so much PDR techs, but information that you can apply towards your PDR business and some services that I think will make your life a little easier. There's so much stuff that I've learned. I've had a major hiccup. I was always a big push on Google My Business on how much I've taught myself through the pandemic. And man, I screwed up this time. So I've been dealing with a major Google issue for the last 3 weeks. And it's been a lot of people with sending some input and trying to help. But there's so much I don't know about websites and internet stuff that is a major, major ordeal in your everyday business. So in the next 3 weeks, we're going to break all of this down and try to give you a quick little university on websites and Facebook and ads and Google My Business. And this is all the stuff that you guys need to hear. You don't need to hear how, this tech got into the industry, and we've had a lot of that. So I wanted to bring you guys some real value. But let's get him on. Let's get him on. What's up, Shane?
What's up?
So Shane is from the PDR Funnel Factory. So what's going on? How are you this evening?
I'm doing great.
So where are you out
of? Central Kentucky.
Down there in Kentucky. We can kind of tell with the accent.
Yeah.
That southern tone. So let's get right into this. How did you get into this whole type of business? What kind of said, oh, you know what, I want to cater it towards dent guys and kind of get into what you're doing, and then we'll kind of explain what exactly you do.
Yeah. So I've always been the entrepreneur type. I started multiple different businesses, marine detailing and pressure washing, and just when I was younger, and they all failed. And so my main thought was like, what do I need? What am I doing wrong? And it was definitely marketing. Like that was where I was going wrong. And so, I have some family that's in PDR, and so at one point in time, I thought that was going to be my point of entry in the industry, and I was going to be a tech. So I went to training, but before training, I spent a couple of years, really dialing in on what I was doing wrong, and so I really dialed in on the marketing side, the Google My Business, the AdWords, the Facebook, just all that. Then I thought I got to the point where maybe that's where my passion lies.
You're like, that's a lot easier than being a dent guy.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think today we're going to break it down, and that's what I was telling them earlier before I brought you on, that we've got a couple weeks here of a couple different guys throwing some gems out there. And it's such a broad thing out there, from websites, from Facebook ads to Google ads to, there's a million things you can spend your money on. And it's hard to figure out, where you're going to spend your money and how.
Yeah.
We were even talking before the show, and, there was stuff you were saying. I was like, I'm running an ad, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing. You can watch YouTube, but there's so much you just don't know, until you start doing it and figuring it out. And at that point, you're spending money. You know what I mean? The only way you're going to figure it out is spending the money.
Exactly. Spend money to get the data to make the changes and optimize your ads.
So let's get into some of the Facebook and Google ad stuff tonight.
Awesome.
Let's start with Facebook. I don't know if you want to break that down and kind of roll through on, before we get into that, what services does your business do? So these guys know after we get in here, if they want to reach out to you for some help or whatever, break that down.
Yeah. So we run pay-per-click advertisement, Facebook marketing, and that's with retargeting on Facebook, which is pretty much a Facebook ads funnel, and reputation management. That's then we design websites, landing pages for your ads, and mostly it's one offer, one service. It's kind of we just want the holistic view because it's hard to really gauge what exactly is we're doing right if we're just doing these one-offs. We want to bring in a holistic view of the marketing strategy. So with pay-per-click, Facebook, and your local SEO.
Okay. So you want for the most part, you can attack that whole package, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's easier to track because, you'll have control of everything going on.
Exactly. Yeah. We can get the maximum potential for the profit.
So on Facebook, what do you offer when you have somebody reach out and they're like, hey, I really want to push hard on Facebook? What do you do?
So the ad structure will go in, and it's really about testing. You want to test everything, but you want to keep it in incremental. You don't want to test a bunch of different variables and you don't know what variable is working and what isn't. So you can't so we go in there on the ad set level, which you have your campaign, you have your ad set, and you have your ads. Ad set is where you have multiple variables. That's where A/B split testing comes in. So your Google or Facebook is putting out variables of these ads on different impressions. So, and they're calculating who is actually seeing that and how their engagement is on that ad. And if it's performing the best, it's going to show that. And within the Facebook Ads Manager, you can see all the analytics for that, and you can figure out which ad is working and up the ad spend on that if it's working. And usually around 4 to 6 weeks, an ad will kind of stale. It'll go stale. So you need to constantly be coming up with new ad creatives, new ad targeting.
And I actually was running a Facebook ad, kind of just testing the water a couple months ago, and how it asks you for 2. And I realized that 1, I would have friends say, hey, I saw your ad on Facebook or whatever. And I realized 1 showed up a lot more than the other. And I guess a lot of that was because it was getting more impressions than the other one. I guess more people were clicking on it or looking at it longer or whatever they gauge it.
Yeah, Facebook's algorithm is choosing that over the other ad because of the performance. Yeah.
Now, is it ever because of the physical ad? Is it because of the text in the ad? Is it because of the picture of the ad? Does that make a big difference? Does Facebook kind of pick that apart?
It's usually the performance of the ad. What the engagement, how people are reacting. Facebook's algorithm is it's ordered around user of how the people are actually performing on the ad.
Okay.
So
now there's so many variables with the Facebook ads, geographical, age range, time, the amount of money you spend. How do you narrow down what is the best? And obviously it's different per market, correct?
Yes, it is. Yes, that's true. It's about testing. You in Facebook Ads Manager, it'll show you is there certain demographics. If there's a certain type of you want to start off kind of broad. That way you can start getting the most data for the ad, and you'll start seeing, what type of customers are actually converting from your ads, and you can use that to kind of tweak and alter the ad to perform even better. And the whole goal is to get your cost per acquisition as low as possible.
Yeah, of course.
And to do that, you go through Google Ads or Facebook Ads Manager, and you find the different demographics that are performing the best, and you up the ad spend on that.
Okay. Now, a question I get asked all the time, and I really don't know crap about it. You know what I mean? Do you see the person that say I'm working with you and I want to do an ad, and I send you photos, I send you different stuff. Do you find that the more basic the photo or the more busy the photo with information on it does better?
So the difference between, like Google and Facebook, people are on Facebook. You don't really go to Facebook to find to find a business or it's more of a social platform. So, and people are seeing, like, on Facebook, a person is identified with like 4,000 different ads a day through Facebook. So you want something that's going to attack their attention, and you can do that with the ad creative, which is the copy, and that's a very big thing, is the actual words that you're using, because that's actually what's going to persuade your potential customer to click on your ad. And what I like to do is send Facebook ads to your website and or to a landing page, which is optimized for conversion. So to be fully optimized for conversion, you want one single objective, one call to action. So, like, if we're sending a person clicks on your ad and sends you to a website, and there's so much stuff going on the webpage that they kind of get disoriented, and maybe they start going to your reviews and they just don't take that call to action seriously. So with a landing page, you want one call to action, and all the words and stuff on there to kind of be pointing toward that call to action, which would probably, either some people use a form where they where they fill out, like the information about the damage on the vehicle, what type of vehicle, or some people just has a call to action that says call now. So literally that call to action is calling you.
Okay. So it really pushes you back to the site and narrows it down to where they can just make an action to make it as convenient for them as you can. Yeah. Because I've found the easier you make things, the better it is now. I feel like people are so all over the place, even in the crazy world we're in right now. People are all over the place.
They are.
And they don't have patience or want to have patience. They're just like, I want this. We're in the Amazon world, is what I say. Want it now. Yeah.
Every like all advertisements are just, they're striving for someone's attention. So, and everything is just attention oriented. So people are paying less, they're less value for attention.
Makes sense. Now, how long do you said how ads go stale? Yeah. How long do you try to run those ads? Do you try to do hit it hard for 2 weeks with a high amount? What is your strategy usually? They usually will stay on until they're not profitable anymore, or because on the back end you're always testing new ads, and if you have an ad that's becoming more profitable than the other one, so you might want to take that one down and up the spend on the other one. So it's a constant test to find the most profitable Facebook ad. Yeah, and it's just not a very good strategy just to use one ad and keep it running forever, and especially if you're not tracking the analytics behind it. So if a guy came to you to run Facebook ads, you would, it's going to take a little bit of time and a little bit of money to kind of figure out how your market is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right off the bat, I mean, you know what I mean? It's going to take some time. It's not going to be, hey, I'm running ads, I'm going to get a return right away. It's going to take, you know, me personally, I've never been successful with the Facebook ads, but some guys have done fantastic. You know, it's kind of like this market here. Manny in California, a lot of the guys in California love Yelp. Yelp here is not very good. You know, the Northeast, it does not do well. So
yeah,
I guess each market is completely different what works. Now, do you, when someone brings you on, do you kind of go through their Facebook page and say, okay, we need to adjust this, we need to adjust this before you're getting ready to launch an ad? Is that how you guys usually work it?
Yeah, absolutely. Because a lot of people are going to check out your Facebook page, and there's certain ways that it needs to be optimized, for sure. And so really, I would definitely advise not to put anything that's kind of controversial on there.
Of course, political or any of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not work. That doesn't work.
Now, Alan's asking a question, and I kind of have a feeling I already know the answer, but he says, how much money? Obviously, that's an answer to where depends on what you need done. You know what I mean? What his main focus is. So, I mean, I'm sure you guys have a breakdown. I'm sure we don't have to get into dollars and cents on the show because people can reach out to you. But
yeah, I have a Facebook page, the PDR Funnel Factory. I also have a group that I'm involved with. Don't have a lot of people in just yet, but I've been posting regular every day, just certain tips and strategies that can be used.
Facebook, how much on Facebook? I guess he's saying how much money should you spend in Facebook ads? I'm kidding.
Yeah, at minimum $10 a day, I would say, to get the right amount of data that you're going to need to optimize your ad accounts.
$10 a day. Look at that. So you personally, you do this more than all of us. Do you feel like Facebook ads do better than AdWords and Google ads? What's your take on that?
Well, so Google is kind of like the opposite. What I like, the analogy that I like to use is, so Google is kind of like how before the internet, when people had a problem, they would go and they would search. And they would search Yellow Pages, but they would have a certain commercial intent. So they had a problem they knew they wanted to solve, so they wanted, and so they would search the Yellow Pages and find a directory, find a listing that they want to use. So and Facebook is kind of like TV commercials and billboards. So that it's interruption marketing. So in a sense, I would say Google is a better platform, but not to say you can't use both. A good funnel is you use.
Here's what I found.
You can
Siri.
Yeah, that it triggered that. Yeah, but so if a person is has a problem, has dents, they want and they're searching Google, and it takes them to your website, and it's a powerful way that you can integrate Google and Facebook is by having Facebook's pixel embedded onto your website. And what that is it tracks user data. So Facebook will know that this user has been to your website. And when they go back to Facebook, you can use a retargeting ad. So Facebook knows that user has been on your website. So they're going to start showing that ad on their newsfeed. I call it like, professional stalking.
Yeah, it's like Amazon. It's like when you look for something on Amazon and then you open up Google and it's there, or you open up YouTube and it's there. And I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
they're
definitely
listening.
powerful.
They're listening.
So how in a sense, like from when a person has the damage, how long do you think that a person takes to decide that they have to have or decide to choose your business as a resolution to their problem? How long do you think that the buying decision takes? I'm sure it's different for each person, but
I think some of them are pretty quick. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I mean, some of them I can get on they call about it, like a referral, or they see it
yeah,
on Facebook or whatever, and they'll call, they'll send over photos, or they'll come to the shop for an estimate, give them a price. And most of the time I either fix it or schedule them,
yeah,
so it's usually a pretty quick, but I do feel like having a full rounded business. So having an Instagram page, a Facebook page, YouTube, a good website, and you're running some ads, I think that really helps, because I think as a customer, you read all these things about, the gypsy lot guys that are tearing cars up. I think it gives you a little bit of credit. Your credibility is there, because they're like, okay, this is a real company. This isn't just some schmo, got some tools, went to some training, and is going to work on your $100,000 car.
yeah.
One of the questions in here: do you like advertising on Instagram or Facebook?
So that in Facebook's ad manager, there's placements, which is where your ad is actually going to be placed. And a lot of times I'll run the ad placements for both places, Facebook and Instagram, and I'll see, if one is if Instagram is not performing as good as Facebook, you take that down, because it's you're getting, in Facebook, you're getting charged by impressions. So that's a difference between Google. You're only paying when someone actually clicks on the ad. And in Facebook, you're actually paying per impression, which is, in a sense, can be a little cheaper. With a strong commercial intent, with cost per click, it could be a little more expensive to acquire the customer. But the thing about it is the customer has a strong commercial intent to purchase your services.
What do they consider an impression? Is it how long they look at the photo? Is it?
It's just if the ad is being shown to a person, that's an impression.
Okay. Now another guy asked, "What about YouTube?"
Yeah, I don't really advertise a lot on. I don't know a lot about YouTube. It's the same. It's the same. It's pretty much the same as Google Ads. So
yeah, and
I
really,
I believe it would be a good I believe it would be a good platform. It's owned by Google, and it's pretty much set up the same way. I don't have a lot of experience on YouTube.
I feel like I just totally scroll past those ads on YouTube, because they'll pop up on the top. I watch a lot of YouTube. We're on YouTube right now, but I just seem to scroll through it. I don't ever feel it. I never read them. I know that for sure, because they'll pop up in the very top as soon as you open up YouTube. So I don't know. I don't know if they work, if they don't. But it is an option through your Google Ads.
Yeah.
Alan's asking, if you have a good website and you're doing Google and Facebook, how long on an average does it take to get traction in the marketplace? That's a great question, Alan. You're doing good tonight, buddy. You're doing great. What's your thought?
A good website. So you would definitely need to be kind of tracking your performance of your website. So if you're running Google Ads, you want to know how many per clicks of your ad. You want to know how many customers you're actually converting into paying customers that delivers to your website. So that's how you track a good website, in a sense. So you want to optimize for conversion, and by kind of looking at the analytics of for how many customers you're sending to your website, how many of those visitors that's on your website are actually converting to a paying customer, and you track that conversion. So yeah, I'm not really sure how it's a little bit it's a little bit different for each website. I'm sure it's kind of a back end question. So if you have a good if you have a good website and you're running ads, you should if it's a good website, you should instantly have credible in the marketplace.
Yeah, I mean, I think how long that's a hard question. You know what I mean? Because obviously it's market strategies in your own market, and every market is different. You know what I mean? It's I don't know if he means as in ranking on Google.
Ranking.
I don't know how. I guess that question would have to be broken down.
Yeah, a little bit.
But if you were in our business and you had to pick, you had a very small amount of money, but you wanted to run ads and you wanted to get the best for your buck, what would you do? Google or Facebook?
I would definitely run Google ads. Yeah. But I would spend in a time, like when you're talking about like the time that you want to spend on your business and the money wise, you want to spend the majority of your time if you're doing it on your own on your GMB listing. Then and have you ever seen like when you search for a service business and you see the Google Map Pack show up and there's an ad at the top?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that? Yeah. Mm-hmm. The way you do that is you through your Google AdWords, there is a location extension, and
that's what I did.
Add that. Yeah, you add that but it's a little bit. There's a little bit of uncertainty with that because Google doesn't exactly tell you when those ads are actually coming up.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's almost like a guessing game, but I believe it's a good strategy just to use.
I think
so.
I did it just to kind of funnel people to a new location. You kind of focused my attention to that location and said, okay, this is what we're going to do it for. It's only been running for, I guess Sunday will be a week. I have, we've got 2 jobs off of it so far, but I don't know yet. I'm going to let it keep running. And I'm running the other thing that I've realized is it's the amount of money that you're spending. Like you said, at least $10. And when you're doing AdWords, it'll tell you, you've got that in your area, that bar of where your competitors or people in your market are at, so.
Yeah, you can constantly optimize AdWords by, researching different negative keywords because that's the way you optimize it to get the lowest cost per conversion.
Now, what do you mean by negative keywords?
Those are keywords that you don't want because, like, if you when you're adding keywords, there's a couple of different ways that Google sees those words. There's broad keywords, which Google will find related phrases, related words. There's an inconsistency of when your ads are being shown, so that will kind of put a drop on your click-through rate. So an example would be like I was saying earlier before we got on, if one of your keywords is dent repair and it's a broad keyword match. So if someone is actually looking for do-it-yourself dent repair and that impression is being shown and they're not clicking it, that'll drop in your click-through rate, which has a response on how much you're paying per, how much your actually cost per click is. So
now Alan's got a bunch of questions. He says, is the organic platform better than AdWords?
Yeah, the organic platform. So the GMB, the Google listing?
Probably. I think that's what it means.
Okay. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's where most of your attention should be going to. if you want that right before you even start probably in AdWords. You want to get your GMB listing right, because most on average, I would say 40% 40 to 50% of your calls are probably coming from the Google Map Pack, and you want to optimize that to be listed when you want to show up when people are searching for you, and that's the first place I would start.
And make sure everything's right, because you will get slapped on the hand. You know, that's what I've been dealing with. I'm in the red zone right now. So, but you know, on Facebook, if you're strategically going at Facebook for Facebook ads, how long, like I asked earlier, how long would you say you would let an ad run before it gets stale? 3 weeks, a month? You know, what's your thought on that? Or you just keep trying to change it. You know, you go every 2 weeks, boop, something new.
Yeah, it's a constant battle looking at the analytics. You know, if you're making money off the ad, maybe you keep it running for as long as it's making money. But in my experience, 3 weeks to 6 weeks, you know, they start really dropping, and you'll be backing them up with new ad accounts or new ad sets. And when you find them, and you always want to put the most money into your most optimized ad that's making you the most money. So as soon as an ad becomes more profitable than the other, you more likely want to drop that ad to save money.
Now, is it worth you to constantly, like I've seen in there, to where you can replace the photo for that ad? Is it worth you to constantly change that photo, or just kind of let it run and see what it does?
Well, you want to do that at the ad set level. So you'll have an ad that'll have one photo with the same copy. Then you'll have a test, and that's where A/B testing comes in. You have another ad that's got the same photo with different copy. You have another ad that has a different photo with the same copy, and Facebook will alternate those ads to the audience that you pick, and whichever ad is performing the best, it will show up, and it'll show up to be better through the analytics, and you will ramp up the ad spend on that ad. Facebook kind of will do that for you. It's a powerful platform. They have like 1,400 data points on every person. I think last month there was like 2.3 billion users. It's crazy.
Now with Google, do they have that same type of thing for you to kind of the A/B, or how does that work?
Yeah, absolutely they do. So really, with your A/B testing, you're testing with different keyword structures.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're testing different broad keywords with different negative keywords. Then you have another at an ad set level. You have a different type of keyword or a different negative keyword, and it's all a test to find the most optimized ad. And you're always there's really no end to the optimization, and your entire goal is to get the cost per acquisition as low as possible.
Makes sense. You know, get as much for your money as you can. Obviously, we all like that. When you bring a client on, how much time do you spend with them on the go? Is it a ton of work for both of you to try to get everything dialed in? Or is it kind of like they speak to you, give you an idea what they want, and then you just handle it?
So the first 7 days is there's a little bit of work actually. So I'm going to be going in and on the website is, that is the anchor. That is your website and your landing pages. That's really the anchor of your lead. When your ads are pretty much a that's driving traffic to your conversion page, which is like your website or your landing page. And you want, if you can be spending a ton of money and sending a ton of traffic to your website, but if it's not converting, it's just going to be a waste of time. So that's where I like to start.
Now, I don't know if these guys know or not, and I'm breaking it down. You keep saying landing pages. Explain what a landing page is to some of these guys that don't know.
So a landing page is a one page web page, and it's basically a page that you're using ads to drive traffic to. Like I was saying earlier, a website, you have so much stuff going on that they could, when you're sending traffic to your homepage or website, so you're basically giving your customer a chance to kind of fill out and go in different places and maybe not ever come to the conclusion of they want you as their problem solver. So a landing page is it's a one page website in a sense. Okay. And with one call to action, and pretty much everything on the page is driving influence to that one call to action, which is maybe to call phone calls. Yeah.
Okay. Now, Alan's asking, what should you do? And this is a perfect question for you, because me and you were speaking about this the other day. What should you do to have a good footprint in an out-of-state hailstorm?
I would think, you could go in with both platforms, Facebook and AdWords, and target certain areas. But not everybody can run a successful Facebook campaign, because you have to be the photo has to be definitely noticeable. It's got to catch someone's attention. It's all about capturing someone's attention. And if you're doing the same thing as everyone else, the person's attention span is just going to scroll right through. Yeah. So I think something cool would be on Facebook as an ad video is like a lightning storm with thunder, then shows like a drastic hailstorm and coming down on a car, then then a business owner kind of coming up from like a green screen view and just giving an outline of how they can solve the problem. If you're in a hailstorm, then if you've been in a hailstorm, then you can use that. And if they click on that to your website, then you can retarget with with ads from that website. Mm-hmm. Website view. It's more about ad placement, or not ad placement, but location placement.
Yeah. Now, what other services do you offer through it? I know you said you kind of want to bring. Now, if somebody wants you to just handle Google AdWords, is your business open for that?
Yes.
How does that? Yeah. Okay. So if a guy doesn't want to be completely engulfed and let you handle everything, you'll still take their services of doing Facebook ads or Google or whatever.
Yeah, or web design.
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't have a website, we create fully optimized websites as a local SEO, stand for on-page SEO, and with the holistic view, we usually will produce like 1,000-word blog posts a month, something like that, and it really moves the needle with on-page SEO.
Yeah, I could see a big. I pay for blogs, and I can definitely see a big change in traffic. I feel like I get more online estimates when the blogs are running.
Yeah.
And it helps with Google because it's constant change to your website, which Google likes to have.
And with blog posts, you can have a user-centric blog post, like 5 things that you need to know before you go to your insurance to get a estimate. I don't know, you probably know things, know little tricks of things like that. So you're capturing a person's attention before they're actually becoming aware that they have a problem that you need to fix. So you'll be top of mind. So, and you can run ads that's kind of centered around being a victim of a hailstorm that needs, and you may have a problem with the insurance, or you haven't addressed the problem with the insurance company. So you may have an ad set that when someone clicks it, it's actually sending them to your blog post of what, steps that you need to do before, or, right after a hailstorm. What do you need to know?
I think, me personally, I feel like in our business, you definitely need a good website. I feel like, to be honest with you, I feel like the older customers, the older clientele on my business, definitely they pay more attention to the website, because I've had more people say, man, you've got a really nice website. The younger crowd, Facebook, Instagram, referrals, but I think a website is definitely a really good first step. You Google my business in a Facebook page and a decent website. I think you're definitely trying to move in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Anything else you want to go over directly? Hook to that.
So in the beginning, you really want to have attention to detail for local SEO and just SEO, especially with the URL structure of your website. You in your URL structure, like I was saying to you the other day. So keywords really matter in the URL structure. So if you have keywords, if your landing page has keywords that correlates to your local service area, your website's going to be more prone to show on those search results. So in a construction standpoint, you really want, before you go in investing in a lot of money in a website, you really want to know if they have the local SEO and the URL structure down to be fully optimized, so you're not wasting money on a it's like it's like building a garage in the middle of nowhere, right? So without any directions how to get there, all you have is a sign out front. And local SEO is like creating a roadmap through the search engine to your business.
Mm-hmm.
And you really want to get that in first thing. Then that's the whole point of ads. You want the ads to send traffic to your website, but you want your website to convert.
Of course. I mean, if you want to capture it, you know what I mean, at that point. How can people good? And
you can track the amount of people that's going to your website through Google Analytics. And if the majority, you're going to have 70% of 30% that's not going to convert, and you're going to know that. But you want, if you're having a lot of people, if you're spending a lot of money driving a lot of ads, or building a lot of ads, driving a lot of traffic to your website, but you're just not getting the calls, then you have a website problem.
Yeah. Now, Alan's asking, what is a backlink?
A backlink is a mention of your website on another page, on another website, and you want.
How do you get those?
Mostly by reaching out and sharing content, and there's backlinks that you can pay for. We do backlink with the SEO, the local SEO. We do backlinks. A lot of it is paid backlinks, but then you can just get so just search local, like your local commerce. You can get backlinks through your chamber of commerce, and just like a backlink is a way for Google to see what type of business you have and what what type, what relevance you have to the industry, and if you're actually a reputable business. So the more backlinks you have, the more reputable you are, the more likely that you're going to show on a SEO search.
So you're saying like backlinks are Better Business Bureau, Angie's List, that type of stuff is considered a backlink?
No, it's basically a link to your website that's posted on another website.
Okay.
What you're talking about is actually a citation, which is the name, address, and phone number on another website.
Okay.
As I mentioned.
Now, is that more important than the backlinks? Or are they all kind of relevant?
It just depends, and I hate saying that, but that's with SEO. That's just kind of the way it is. It's something that you need to test. So if you're doing competitive research and a competitor is ranking above you, and they have a certain amount of backlinks, and you have pretty much the same amount of citations, then the backlinks are something that you need to work on.
Okay. How can people find you?
My website will be up in about 3 days, and it'll be local search PDR is the website URL. I'm on Facebook with PDR Funnel Factory. You can search PDR Funnel Factory, and you can message me on Facebook, add me on Facebook. My phone number is 270-585-4722. You can call me right up.
585, what was it?
270-585-4722.
Super easy guy. I mean, you reached out to me a couple weeks ago, and I appreciate you coming on, just kind of getting some information out there. And it's nice to see some newer guys kind of getting into this, because we're just dent guys. I said this before. I was like, we're just dent guys that are trying to figure it out. Like Alan's been doing some work, obviously, and I'm sure he'll reach out and have some good questions. I think the hardest part is we all get scared. You're into that. It's kind of like taking you and jamming you into a Texas hail car. It's the same thing with us with Google AdWords and Facebook ads. And, I sure in the hell don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just kind of throwing money at it, and it is what it is. So I think things like this really help the techs. So I appreciate, you putting it out there that, guys have somewhere to go and that you'll work with them.
Yeah. And that's a really big advantage for, I'm definitely a small agency. So, and that's a very big advantage. You really have, you'll get more of a, personal connection, and you're just not overlooked by the big corporate agencies that maybe they don't have your best interests in mind. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, bud.
Thank you. We're
going to get you back on again. We'll get a little more deep into another topic here in the next few months. I'll kind of keep going, and
awesome.
I appreciate it. You guys have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy yourself. Be safe. Wash your damn hands. Keep it real, guys. Thanks. Bye-bye.